Hey there, welcome back to my Let's Play of Mass Effect Legendary Edition. For today's episode, let's head to the Argus Row cluster. Wherever that is. Ah, here we go. And I'm not actually Pinnacle Station right now. I'll save that for another video. I'll probably do this one after I do. I'll probably do Pinnacle Station after I do Novaria. I'm here for a different reason. Vebenock is a small terrestrial world with a thin atmosphere of krypton and xenon. Its frozen surface is mainly composed of carbonaceous material, water ice, and low-density silicates. Rare but concentrated loads of light metals have been deposited by asteroid impacts. One hemisphere of Vebenock is covered by surface deposits of oxidized copper. Approximately 270 years ago, a Turian bulk gas transport was attacked by pirates in the Phoenix system. Damaged, it made a rough landing on Vebenock. The heat of the landing melted significant quantities of surface ice, and ruptured shipping containers spilled blocks across the surface. I guess that's the oxidized copper? Before this evaporated and escaped Vebenock's weak gravity, it reacted to cause the widespread rust. Oh, liquid oxygen, I suppose, is what the blocks would be. And hey, some cobalt. Carbonaceous asteroid. During a scan of the Phoenix system asteroid field, you detected an odd energy reading that Tali determined was Corian in nature. She led a recon team into the asteroid field, where she discovered an abandoned freighter. The team could not determine why the ship was there, but they did find a Prothean data disk on board. Anything in this asteroid belt? I don't think there is. Nope. Tatashi is a sun-blasted terrestrial world whose atmosphere was blasted away millennia ago by the star Phoenix. The surface is scorching hot and mainly composed of iron with deposits of tin. Due to its relatively low density, Tatashi is tidally locked to Phoenix. Seas of molten light metals cover much of the sunward side. And we got some Samaria. In Taisei, yes. An atmosphere similar to... Actually, because that is a planet that we will eventually be able to land on, I'll talk about it another time. Still, Salto is a standard hydrogen helium gas giant. It has no remarkable features. Ooh, burn! Jeez, just... harsh. And Tuntao is an enormous, low-density terrestrial planet with a thick atmosphere of methane and helium. Despite being nearly 20 AU from Phoenix, the star's great heat and the insulating thickness of the atmosphere make the surface surprisingly temperate. The crust is mainly composed of sodium and silicon dioxide with deposits of various light metals. While Tuntao is not habitable, the relative pleasantness of the surface conditions make it a popular location for small ships discharging from the Argus Row cluster to land for drive discharge. Wrex, of course. And Tali. Hidden structure right off the bat. Alright. And I think I see some bits of red. Suggesting that this is not illegal. Oh, I suppose you never know. It could be a legal place. They could be allowed to be here. There we go. Just wondering where those guys were hiding. So, hidden. You don't tend to hide stuff that is supposed to be.
This is the place. My armor's here somewhere.
Well, in that case, let's get to killing.
Heads up!
Okay, if you want to rush up like that, that's fine. There he goes. Oh. Hey, Tonactus. Tonactus did not die yet. Well, there's that loser dead. Okay, I don't know what just blew up, but...
Go!
There's a lot of these, a lot of these guys in there. Yeah, maybe just take the L, dude.
Disabled.
Go!
He's got a surprisingly good... Guy's got a surprisingly good pirate force.
Got him, Commander.
Whatever. Like, doesn't help. I mean, it helps if the place is just kind of a messy layout. But even so, that was just like a surprisingly tough fight for, you know, for a collector. I don't know, it kind of feels like if the British Museum hired the the British military to defend it. Except I feel like this guy's probably still a little bit more ethical than the British Museum. It's always a good time to shit on the British Museum.
This is it. I can't believe my ancestors ever wore this piece of crap. But at least I've got it back.
I'm glad we could help you get it back.
I might just be starting to like you, Shepard.
Wrex touches his grandfather's armor, his expression thoughtful, perhaps? Broken or hard to read. Then he shakes off his bemusement and grips his gun with renewed purpose. Time to move on. Glad I was able to help
Let's
him.
get moving.
Wrex is a good dude. I'm glad I was able to help him, you know? And I'm back to this glitch. Fun times. But anyway, yeah. British Museum can go to hell. Is basically what I was trying to say. Alright. Now we head north for this anomaly. Okay, there you go. Now you're driving properly. Don't know what was going on with Mako there for a second. I do really like Wrex. He is one of the most popular characters in the trilogy for a reason. I think he might have been voted the best new character in the year that first Mass Effect came out. You know, in those one of those video game magazine polls. So definitely he's yeah, much loved.
You need to turn back, Commander. You're going beyond the range of the operational area.
Shut up, Joker. I'm just trying to get to the thing. There we go. Should be. Yep. That's really pretty. Yeah, that's sparkling down there. That's really pretty. And It's a pyramid. Oh, the conspiracy theorists are right. Pyramids were made by aliens. I'm joking, of course. Okay, anything right here? Hey, there we go. You found one of Matriarch Delanaga's writings on this body. It's possible the writings came from nearby rooms. This pyramid is in very good condition. Even by pyramid standards. I mean, pyramids are built to last. That's why we find them so often in the world. But I don't know. Even by pyramid standards, that one seems to have lasted a good long time. Good for it. Whoever made it knew what they were doing, clearly. And of course, it's probably not made of, regular materials. Looks like it's got some metallic elements to it, so... Actually, would that make it survive? That make it survival more or less likely than just stone? I don't know. I suppose probably more likely. The fact that it looks to be made out of metal, I suppose that is probably part of why it's in unusually good shape even for a pyramid. Hey, Mercury. Yeah. So, I like this mission being able to help Wrex, and I like that at the end of it, he seems to be thoughtful about it. I do wonder what thoughts he had about it. Crash probe. Alright, not too bad. And there's a there's gonna be a mineral somewhere around here. Not too far from here, I don't think. Yeah, there we go. Just gotta figure out how to get to it. Yeah, I wonder if maybe the Armour made Wrex think of, who the Krogan used to be, type of deal.
You need to turn back, Commander. You're going beyond the range of the operational area.
Hush, Joker. I'm the captain here. Well, Commander. Lithium. Actually, come to think of it,
You
I'm...
need to turn back, Commander.
Shut up. I'm commanding the ship. Shouldn't I be a captain? I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but it feels like I should be captain. And, alright. Some Codex. That didn't open anything. Alright. So as I've indicated before, this is long, so I'll probably split the ships and vehicles into a couple different. FTL drive appearance. Actually, I think I did read this one before. What does it look like outside a ship moving at faster than light speed? Part of the answer can be seen in a simple pane of glass. Light travels slower through glass than it does through open air. Light also moves slower in conventional space than it does in a high-speed mass effect field. This causes refraction. Blah, blah, blah. As positive or negative electric current is passed through an FTL drive core, it acquires a static electrical charge. Drives can be operated an average of 50 hours before they reach charge saturation. This change is proportional to the magnitude of mass reduction. A heavier or faster ship reaches saturation more quickly. If the charge is allowed to build, the core will discharge into the hull of a ship. All ungrounded crew members are fried to a crisp, all electronic systems are burned out, and metal bulkheads may be fused and melted and fused together. The safest way to discharge a core is to land on a planet and establish a connection to the ground, like a lightning rod. Larger vessels like dreadnoughts cannot land and must discharge into a planetary magnetic field. The ship passes the charge from the drive core to the exterior armored hull, then dives into the magnetic field. As the hull discharges, sheets of lightning jump away into the field, creating beautiful auroral displays on the planet. The ship must retract its sensors and weapons while dumping charge to prevent damage, leaving it blind and helpless. Discharging at a moon with a weak magnetic field can take days. Discharging into the powerful field of a gas giant may require less than an hour. Deep space facilities such as the Citadel often have special discharge facilities for visiting ships. Heat limits the length and intensity of ship-to-ship combat. Starships generate enormous heat when they fire high-energy weapons, perform maneuvering burns, and run onboard combat electronics. In combat, warships produce heat more quickly than they can disperse it. As heat builds within a vessel, the crewed spaces become increasingly uncomfortable. Before the heat reaches lethal vessels, a ship must win or retreat by entering FTL. After an FTL run, the ship halts, shuts down non-essential system, and activates the heat radiation gear. Combat endurance varies by ship design and by the battle's location. Battles in the deep cold of interstellar space can go on for some time. Engagements close to a star are brief. Since habitable worlds are usually close to a star, battles over them are frantic. Shells lofted by surface navies crash back to Earth when their acceleration is overwhelmed by gravity and air resistance. In space, a projectile has unlimited range. It will keep moving until it hits something. Practical gunnery range is determined by the velocity of the attacker's ordnance and the maneuverability of the target. Beyond a certain range, a small ship's ability to dodge trumps a larger attacker's projectile speed. The longest range combat occurs between dreadnoughts, whose projectiles have the highest velocity but are the least maneuverable. The shortest range combat is between frigates, which have the slowest projectile velocities and highest maneuverability. Opposing dreadnoughts open with a main gun artillery duel at extreme ranges of tens of thousands of kilometers. The fleets close, maintaining evasive lateral motion while keeping their bow guns facing the enemy. Fighters are launched and attempt to close to the disruptor torpedo range. Cautious admirals weaken the enemy with ranged fire and fighter strikes before committing to close action. Aggressive commanders advance so cruisers and frigates can engage. At long range, the main guns of cruisers become useful. Friendly interceptors engage enemy fighters until the attackers enter the range of ship-based Guardian fire. Dreadnoughts fire from the rear, screened by smaller ships. Commanders must decide whether to commit to a general melee or retreat into FDL. At medium range, ships can use broadside guns. Fleets intermingle, and it becomes difficult to retreat in order. Ships with damaged kinetic barriers are vulnerable to Wolfpack frigate flotillas that speed through the battlespace. Only fighters and frigates enter close knife fight ranges of 10 or fewer kilometers. Fighters loose their disruptor torpedoes, bringing down a ship's kinetic barriers and allowing it to be swarmed by frigates. Guardian lasers become viable weapons, swatting down fighters and boiling away warship armor. Neither dreadnoughts nor cruisers can use their main guns at close range. Laying the bow on a moving target becomes impossible. Superheated thruster exhaust becomes a hazard. Cabins give each individual 10 cubic meters of space. On larger vessels, private rooms are common. As ships get smaller, the number of crew packed into a single wardroom increases. Asari prefer shared spaces even on large vessels, while Krogan territorial instincts make it impossible for them to cohabitate even on the smallest ships. On smaller vessels, hot bunking is the norm. Crew members assigned to different watches share the same bunk. When one gets off duty, he wakes up the person in the bunk. While that crewman is on duty, the first gets his rack on. Spacecraft compartments can be isolated by airtight doors in case of decompression. The cinematic vision of explosive decompression is fiction. Hold compartments either take enough damage that occupants are killed instantly, or leak slowly enough that they are able to reach protective gear. Compartments are equipped with emergency life support apparatus, fireproof plastic bubbles with air bubbles. Small when stowed, ELSA comfortably accommodate one individual inflated. Damage control procedure cuts off ventilation to burning compartments. Without oxygen to consume, fires die in seconds. The compartment is repressurized afterward for crew recovery. Mass effect fields create an artificial gravity, AGRAV, plane below the decks, preventing muscle atrophy and bone loss in zero-G. Large vessels arrange their decks perpendicular to their thrust axis. The highest decks are at the bow, and the lowest at the engines. This allows AGRAV to work with the inertial effects of thrust. Ships that can land arrange their decks laterally, so the crew can move about while the vessel is on the ground. Warships normally turn off their AGRAV system during combat, reducing the heat generated by systems and increasing combat endurance. To provide a point of reference for navigating in zero-G, floors are painted a different color from the walls and ceiling. Alright, that one's gonna do for now, and now another side quest. Hades Gamma, Kakus, Shohei. A lot of systems in the Hades Gamma system. At some point before the end of the game, I'll make sure that I've visited all of them. Pretty sure I'll make sure that I visited everything. Zayarter. An enigmatic terrestrial planet, Zayarter has a hazy atmosphere of nitrogen and argon. The surface is scorching hot and mainly composed of calcium, with deposits of sodium. 3 times in the last century, ships stopping to discharge at Triarmus have reported geometric patterns of light on the dark side of Zayarter. Attempts at closer investigation proved fruitless. The lights disappear when ships move to approach the inner system. Curious. I bet there's some mercury.
to position. Heading out.
On my way.
You cannot stop the future!
You've cleared the facility. All of the civilians are safe, though still chattering to themselves and screaming at the garbage cans. Evolution of humanity, huh? Those biotics didn't seem that different from the other scum you deal with.
Negative contacts, Commander.
On me!
You would not believe
When I smile, the walls chime. I'm making so much music. Can you feel me growing? I'm gonna break it all!
mood. Anyway,
If I don't hold still, it will all spill out. And then I won't be me anymore. I won't be me if it all spills out. I have to hold still.
yeah, you would not believe
They're all crawling
The-
through my fingers. I can feel their wings fluttering.
the trouble I've had recording this second half of the episode.
I can't stop it. I can't stop it. It's all spinning away. They're all crawling through my fingers. I can feel their wings fluttering.
Like, a couple of the,
Can you feel me growing? I'm gonna break it all!
like, I'm pretty sure I screwed up earlier. Hit, end recording instead of pause recording. So I think part of it is, was my fault. But, yeah. Not recording properly, freezing. It just crashed. My computer just froze up and crashed on me before this attempt. So hopefully I can actually complete it now.
Where's... Did you see it? It was just here. So beautiful. Bubbles, bubbles, but when I touch them, I pop. Too much spinning.
In the original version of the game, these guys walked around.
It will all spill out, and then I won't be me anymore.
Can you feel me growing?
Looks like
I'm gonna
the,
break it all!
If I don't hold still,
looks like they changed that, the Legendary Edition so that they all stand in place.
if it all spills out.
Presumably to make it a little bit easier. So that they don't walk right into your line of fire. But, and, hold on. I turned off the squad mate power usage while I was there. Just didn't want them like using powers that would catch up the civilians. Hello, my way over here. Something else for that. So, this game, all the decisions you make, all the outcomes you get from various side quests and things like that, they all have flags. Well, okay then. Love glitches.
Message coming in. Patching it through.
I didn't think it could be done, Commander. You managed to secure the base and neutralize the biotics without a single civilian casualty.
Just doing my job, Admiral. I couldn't let innocent lives be lost.
I wish every soldier had your definition of just doing your job. You're a credit to the uniform, Shepard.
Damn straight.
We're in your debt. Fifth Fleet out.
Anyway, let's head back down now that I'm... And hopefully it works this time. Anyways, yeah, the flags. So, it records the outcomes... Why not? For, for anything that it needs to be recorded for, so... Things like the news reports you hear on the elevators. The second game has similar news reports. So, yeah, it's, there's... I mean, obviously, like, not spoiling anything big here by saying that your decisions can result in changes to the future side quests in future games. So yeah, they all get tagged, flagged, so that they know, so the game knows what you did. This mission and a couple others were bugged, so the flag recorded the wrong outcome in the original version. I think they fixed it. Yes, they did fix this bug, and I think one other. There's another one that they actually did eventually leave in. Mercury! So yeah, basically, whatever you do here, the game assumes that you got the worst possible outcome. Already with the tentacles? Is it even... Oh, it is still moving. Alright. It looked for a minute like it wasn't even moving anymore. Don't want to get too close to that thing. And just the one tentacle left. Oh, jeez. grand already. Let's see if I can finish this guy up this one. Got him. Haha.
Bring it on.
On foot. Hell yeah. Yeah, that used to be the strategy for dealing with Threshamals in the first game. Back when because back then you get less experience in the Mako than you did on foot. In this game they changed it so that you get the same amount of experience no matter whether you're in the Mako or on foot, so there's no point. But yeah, you'd whittle the Maws down with whittle the Maws health down with the Mako, and then you'd get out and finish it on foot. Though the Threshamals in the first game, like I've mentioned this before, were coded weirdly, so you'd get a batch of experience when they were almost dead, and then they'd pop back up and you'd have to finish them off again. So, if you weren't careful, you could get some rods out of that way. Hey, what's over here? Bunch of these. Sniping contest, huh? Anyway, there's actually nothing of particular interest over here. There's nothing to collect here. This person must have died while attempting to salvage a crashed satellite. Presumably this one. Those pirates I killed, they are nothing. They're not associated with anything. I don't know if it's just one of those things where they were plans to have something there and they just left stuff in, or if it's just one of those things where, like, out in the galaxy and danger everywhere. I don't know if it's something like that. My hunch is that probably was something that they were going to do with those pirates, because they're just out in the middle of absolutely nowhere. And some plutonium. I don't think I have any other... Not ready to do the Cerberus stuff yet. Not ready for that yet. Only one more. Yeah, so... Yeah, I am very close to done with the stuff. Anyway. I'll go talk to everybody, but first, let's do a little bit of Codex. See if we can finish off ships and vehicles here. Cruiser-weight starships are the standard combat unit encountered away from large naval bases, the poor bloody infantry of most fleets. Nimble scouting frigates have neither the punch nor the stamina to stand up to a serious combat, and the mighty dreadnoughts are a strategic resource, carefully hoarded and committed to the most critical battles. Cruisers perform routine independent show-the-flag patrols in settled systems, and lead flotillas of frigates in small engagements, such as pirate suppression campaigns. In major fleet engagements, cruiser squadrons support the Dreadnought battle line by screening their flanks against enemies attempting to maneuver for a main gun bow shot from their vulnerable broadsides. Alliance cruisers are named after cities of Earth. The Dreadnought is the ultimate arbiter of space warfare. Millions of tons of metal, ceramic, and polymer dedicated to the projection of firepower against an enemy vessel of like ability. No sane commander would face a Dreadnought with anything less than another Dreadnought. Dreadnought's power lies in the length of its main gun. Dreadnoughts range from 800 meters to 1 kilometer long, with a main gun of commensurate length. An 800-meter mass accelerator is capable of accelerating one 2-kilogram slug to a velocity of 283 kilometers per second every 2 seconds. Each slug has the kinetic energy of 38 kilotons of TNT, 3 times the energy released by the fission weapon that destroyed Hiroshima. When used to bombard planets, some of this kinetic energy is lost due to atmospheric re-entry friction. As a rule of thumb, each Earth atmosphere of air pressure saps approximately 20% of the projectile's impact energy. The Turian fleet presently has 37 dreadnoughts, the Asari 21, and the Solarian 16. Humanity has 6, with an additional hull under construction at Arcturus Station. Alliance battleships are named for mountains of Earth. Everest class, Everest, Fuji, Elbrus. Never even heard of Mount Elbrus myself. Kilimanjaro class, Kilimanjaro, Taishan, Shasta, Aconcagua. I haven't heard of most of those either. I don't know much about geography, I'll admit. Fighters are single-pilot combat small craft. They are lightweight enough that they can be economically fitted with powerful Element Zero cores, making them capable of greater acceleration and sharper maneuvers than starships. Kinetic barrier shields change starship battles from short, vicious bloodbaths to extended, indecisive slugging matches. Only the main gun of a dreadnought could punch a mass accelerator slug through the barriers of an opposing dreadnought. This changed with the development of the fighter-launched mass destructor torpedo, a short-ranged weapon that can penetrate kinetic barriers to destroy the projector assemblies. Starship Guardian defenses must be overwhelmed through swarm tactics. Fighter groups can take heavy casualties pressing their torpedo attacks home. Once fighter-launched torpedoes have crippled an enemy's barriers, the mass accelerators on frigates and cruisers can make short work of them. Interceptors are a type of fighter optimized to attack other fighters, with no ability to damage starships. Interceptors are used to screen friendly units from incoming fighter attack. Frigates are light escort and scouting vessels. They often have extensive Guardian systems to provide anti-fighter screening for capital ships, and carry a squad of Marines for security and groundside duty. Unlike larger vessels, frigates are able to land on planets. Frigate drive systems allow them to achieve high FTL cruise speeds. They also have proportionally larger thrusters and lighter design mass, allowing them to maneuver more handily. In combat, speed and maneuverability make a frigate immune to the long-range fire of larger vessels. In the time it takes projectile weapons to reach them, frigates are no longer where they were predicted to be. In fleet combat, frigates are organized into wolfpack flotillas of 4 to 6. Wolfpacks speed through enemy formations, hunting enemy vessels whose kinetic barriers have been taken down by fighter-launched disruptor torpedoes. The Wolfpacks circle-strafe vulnerable targets, using their superior speed and maneuverability to evade return fire. Alliance frigates are named for great battles in human history, such as the Normandy, for the Battle of Normandy. Dispersal of heat generated by onboard systems is a critical issue for a ship. If it cannot deal with heat, the crew may be cooked within the hull. Radiation is the only way to shed heat in a vacuum. Civilian vessels utilize large, fragile radiator panels that are impossible to armor. Warships use diffuse radiator arrays, DRA, ceramic strips along the exterior of the armored hull. These make the ship appear striped to thermographic sensors. Since the arrangement of the strips depends on the internal configuration of the ship, the patterns for each vessel are unique and striking. On older ships, the DRA strips could become red or white hot. Dubbed tiger stripes or war paint by humans, the glowing DRA had a psychological impact on pirates and irregular forces. Strip radiators are not as efficient as panels, but if damaged by enemy fire, the ship only loses a small portion of its total radiation capacity. In most cases, a vessel's DRA alone allows it to cruise with no difficulties. Operations deep within a solar system can cause problems. A ship engaged in combat can produce titanic amounts of heat from maneuvering burns and weapons fire. When fighting in a high-heat environment, warships employ high-efficiency droplet heat sinks. In a droplet system, tanks of liquid sodium or lithium absorb heat within the ship. The liquid is vented from spray nozzles near the bow as a thin sheet of millions of micrometer-scale droplets. The droplets are caught at the stern and recycled into the system. A droplet system can sink 10 to 100 times as much heat as DRA strips. Droplet sheets resemble a surface ship's wake through the water. The wake peels out in sharp turns, spreading a fan of droplets as the ship changes vectors and leaves the coolant behind. Yep, almost done. Just need to wet my throat a little bit because there's a lot of talking. Light lag prevents sensing in real time at great distances. A ship firing its thrusters at the Charon relay. Light lag prevents sensing in real time at great distances. A ship firing its thrusters at the Charon relay can easily be detected from Earth, 5.7 light hours, 6 billion kilometers away. But Earth will only see the event 5 hours and 45 minutes after it occurs. Due to the light speed limit, defenders can't see enemies coming until they have already arrived. Because there is FDL travel and communications, but no FDL sensors, frigates are crucial for scouting and picket duties. Passive sensors are used for long-range detection, while active sensors obtain short-range, high-quality targeting data. Passive sensors include visual, thermographic, and radio detectors that watch and listen for objects in space. A powered ship emits a great deal of energy. The heat of the life support systems, the radiation given off by the power plants and electrical equipment, the exhaust of the thrusters. Starships stand out plainly against the near absolute zero background of space. Passive sensors can be used during FDL travel, but incoming data is significantly distorted by the effects of the Mass Effect envelope and Doppler shift. Active sensors are radars and high-resolution LADARs, laser detection and ranging, that emit a ping of energy and listen for return signals. LADARs have a narrower field of view than radar, but LADAR resolution allows images of detected objects to be assembled. Active sensors are useless when a ship is moving at FDL speeds. Drones are small robots used to support and supplement organic soldiers on the battlefield. They have no artificial intelligence of any kind, but follow fixed, minimally adaptive programs. Most varieties employ Mass Effect levitation to improve mobility. All modern armies rely on veritable fleets of drones for routine soldiering, static garrisons, patrols, etc. The use of drones in non-critical duties keeps manpower needs down and reduces casualties in low-intensity conflicts. Less advanced races and cultures with less sensitivity to casualties have correspondingly fewer drones in their inventory. Drones are of little use in conventional open field battles, as they are poorly armed and armored. In addition to combat drones, support drones are used to assist organic units in the field. Reconnaissance drones are small, stealthy craft that screen combat units in the field and warn commanders when enemies are spotted. Electronic warfare drones supplement battlefield technicians, serving as mobile jammers and ELINT, electronic intelligence, gathering platforms. They forgot a close bracket. Military and civilian police utilize Dazzler drones equipped with powerful strobe lights to disorient and subdue intruders using non-lethal force. Drone formations are officially referred to as wings, i.e., deploy the 4th assault drone wing on the left flank. Common soldiers often refer to friendly formations as flocks, and enemy formations as swarms. Almost done. A warship's kinetic barriers reduce the damage from solid objects, but can do nothing to block Guardian lasers, particle beams, and other forms of directed energy weapon, DEW. The inner layer of warship protection consists of ablative armor plate designed to boil away when heated. The vaporized armor material scatters the DEW beam, rendering it ineffectual. A scaffold is built around the interior pressure hull, with sheets of ablative armor hung from the structure. Ships typically have multiple layers of armor separated by empty baffles, spaces often used for cargo storage. Cruisers, which lack the internal space to fit dedicated fighter hangars, store the shipboard fighter complement in the baffles. It is not unknown for enlisted crew to build illicit alcohol distilleries in some obscure corner of the baffles, safe from prying eyes. Wonder if anyone's done that on the Normandy. Williams. And finish off this category. A ship's General Area Defense Integration Anti-Spacecraft Network, Guardian, consists of anti-missile, anti-fighter laser turrets on the exterior hull. Because these are under complete control, the gunnery control officer, or because these are under computer control, the gunnery control officer needs to do little beyond turn the system on and designate targets as hostile. Since lasers move at light speed, they cannot be dodged by anything moving at non-relativistic speeds. Unless the beam is aimed poorly, it will always hit its target. In the early stages of battle, the Guardian fire is 100% accurate. It is not 100% lethal, but it doesn't have to be. Damaged fighters must break off for repairs. Lasers are limited by diffraction. The beam spreads out, decreasing the energy density, watts per meter squared, the weapon can place on a target. Any high-powered laser is a short-range weapon. Guardian networks have another limitation: heat. Weapons-grade lasers require cooldown time, during which heat is transferred to sinks or radiators. As lasers fire, heat builds within them, reducing damage, range, and accuracy. Fighters attack in swarms. The first few will be hit by Guardian, but as battle continues, the effects of laser overheat allow the attackers to press ever closer to the ship. Constant use will burn out a laser. Guardian lasers typically operate in infrared frequencies. Shorter frequencies would offer superior stopping power and range, but degradation of focal arrays and mirrors would make them expensive to maintain, and most prefer mechanical reliability over bleeding-edge performance where lives are concerned. Solarians, however, use near-ultraviolet frequency lasers with 6 times the range, believing that having additional time to shoot down incoming missiles is more important. Lasers are not blocked by the kinetic barriers of capital ships. However, the range of lasers limits their use to rare, knife fight range ship-to-ship combat. There's another... And I'll be picking up a few more Codex entries as we go along, but I'm very close to done. The main thing left, really, is Codex entries on Quarians.
I get the feeling you want to ask me something, Commander.
I just wanted to talk.
Of course, Shepard. What did you want to talk about?
I should go.
Goodbye, Shepard.
Didn't think there'd be any new conversations there. How about you, Caden? Anything you want to talk about?
Anything you need, Commander?
Just trying to get a sense of where the crew's at. Thoughts?
I didn't figure you'd have time to talk with all that's going on.
Hey.
There's gotta be some xenobiologists who want to read about the Thorian.
The paperwork will keep. Something on your mind?
I'm just looking for an ear. The debriefing wasn't the right place to say how ridiculous this is. Seems like every other race in the galaxy is wrapped up in their own problems. They don't want to see what's coming.
Wanting to believe everything will be fine? Sounds like human nature to me.
Yeah, I guess some things carry across species well enough. I should remember that after what happened with Vernus.
Don't tell me you and Vernus hugged on graduation day.
Before I met Vernus, I knew as much as any other civilian. Aliens were weird, superior, and tried to tell us what to do. I mean, it's only been 26 years since first contact. That's not a lot of time to understand them. It was Vernus who made me see how human aliens are. They're not different or special. They're jerks and saints, just like us. Hell, by the time I got payback, I didn't even want it anymore.
I don't see you snapping very easily. What finally did it?
It hurt Ronnie. Broke her arm. She reached for a glass of water instead of pulling it biotically. She just wanted a drink without getting a nosebleed, you know? Like an idiot, I stood up. Didn't know what I was gonna do, just something.
Vernus isn't.
And Vernus
Was it
lost
dick?
it. Beat the crap out of me. Kept shouting how they should have bombed us back to the Stone Age. And that's when the knife came up. A military-issue Talon, right in my face. I cut loose. Full biotic kick right in the teeth. Almost as strong as I can manage now. At 17, that's something.
Jeez, Vernus was not stable. I mean, breaking a kid's arm for wanting a drink of water is already pretty extreme. Pulling a knife on a kid? Jeez, guy.
You wanted to help a girl you cared for. That's a noble thing.
Maybe my intentions were noble, but I lost control. I killed him, Shepard. Snapped his neck. They probably could have saved him if they got him to an infirmary quick enough, but they didn't.
Wonder why.
When they shipped him home, bot training was shut down. Codex folded a couple of years later. So, yeah, maybe I hated that Turian. I mean, if one ass was enough to judge a whole race, I'd hate humans too.
I mean, that's fair. Yeah. Somehow I kind of get the feeling, like, from what I'm hearing about Vernus, I kind of get the feeling that even the other Turians probably weren't rushing to get him to the med bay. Because he sounds like the kind of guy who even his own men probably aren't fans of. Anyway, yeah. Hating humanity. Wouldn't blame you if you hated humanity.
A reasonable stance. Keep that level head and we'll do fine.
Staying reasonable is about all we've got left. Everyone else in this galaxy seems to have gone out of their minds.
How do you mean?
Company accepted, of course.
I don't think everyone else has lost their minds or anything. Everyone else seems pretty reasonable to me. Elevator. No music in this elevator. This is the one elevator that I wish we could skip. And unfortunately, it's the one we can't. Lucky for you, usually when I've come down here... I come down here a lot more than it seems, just to play with the equipment.
Shepard.
You get to miss out on all that.
So you'd rather be a merc than help your people?
Jeez.
I'm a fighter. It's what I do.
Just getting right into it, huh, Shepard?
Aren't you at all worried about what will happen to the Krogan?
What the hell do you want me to do about it, Shepard? I'm tired of sticking my ass on the line and getting nothing for it.
So you're just giving up on your people?
I gave up on fighting for a lost cause. I'm no hero, Shepard. Bottom line, killing for credits simplifies things.
Usually,
you think about helping your people?
I try not to. But there's a lot of Krogan mercs out there. I'm always running into them. Half the time I'm being paid to kill them. But that's just part of the job. You don't get to pick who your enemies are.
I think this is the really good story.
How long have you been a merc?
Long enough. I took my first contract right after I left my home system. It's good work if it doesn't kill you.
And Wrex is clearly a survivor, so it hasn't killed him.
I get the feeling you enjoy your work.
Sure. You get to see the galaxy on someone else's credits, and most days end with a good fight. I've tried more organized fighting, private armies and such, but it gets too messy. I fight best on my own, or in very small groups. I don't like people relying on me, and I bloody well don't like relying on them.
Yeah, okay, so it's not the story I thought yet.
Shepard.
There is a very good Wrex story coming up.
Commander?
Do you have a few minutes to talk? One-on-one?
I'm off duty until tomorrow. I was gonna have a small drink. Bit of a celebration. If you're interested.
What's the occasion?
It's Armistice Day, when the First Contact War ended. My family always marks it. Since I'm the only Williams aboard, I thought I'd ask you.
Seems like an odd thing to celebrate. That was 26 years ago.
In our family, it's not really a celebration, more like an obligation. Don't tell me you don't know about my family. My commanders always find out. It's not in my files or something?
There's almost nothing in your files. Technical scores and a list of crap assignments.
There's a reason for the crap assignments. I'm General Williams' granddaughter, the commander of the Shanxi garrison in the war. The only human ever to surrender to an alien race.
Yep.
I see. That's why you drive yourself so hard.
A Williams has to be better than the best, if only to avoid suspicion. That's what my dad told me the night before he retired. Takes a special kind of big-headed to march into a job where your family's blacklisted. I did it anyway. I'm not
So she's a special kind of thick-headed.
Arnold and Quisling. Granddad deserved better than that.
What happened to your grandfather after the war?
He was relieved of command as soon as Shanxi was liberated. They brought him back to Earth in irons, but there was never a trial. They quietly demoted him and stuck him behind a desk. He retired a year later and spent the rest of his life working construction in the colonies. Sometimes we hear about attempts to get him exonerated in some official way. Nothing ever comes of him.
As I recall, your grandfather held out for a long time.
The Turians wrecked the orbitals in the first wave and occupied the major cities. They sat in orbit, dropping rocks on anything that moved. Granddad dispersed the troops, but when they went into the cities for supplies, the Turians would wreck a block to eliminate one fire team. Civilians were dying, his troops were starving, and he couldn't contact Alliance High Command. So he surrendered the garrison.
Does sound like a tough position to be in. And I mean, there really shouldn't be any shame in him having surrendered. He was up against, a force that was superior in every conceivable way, and was also utterly ruthless. So yeah, of course he had to surrender. He didn't really have any choice if he was going to keep both the civilians and soldiers alive. But, of course, doesn't really work that way. Logic seldom enters into these sorts of things. So, makes sense from a political standpoint that he would end up being ostracized for it and hated for it. Makes some sense as well that it would carry on down to his family.
He refused to sacrifice his men just to save face for humanity. You planning to throw yourself on a sword to save face for him?
Would it make a difference? He's gone now. Dad's gone too. And who would it impress? I'll never be good enough for the Alliance. So
Sure.
now you know. Gonna kick me off the ship, Skipper?
I mean, I wouldn't say we need her. But, yeah, I mean, she's on the Alliance. She's on the Normandy. Best ship of the fleet, you know?
You're a valuable part of my crew, Williams. If I want an opinion from the head, I go to Alenko. When I want one from the heart, I go to you.
I also play a mean game of pool.
We never
But
learned
anyway,
to see that.
I've got things to do before we land. I'm sure you do too.
Dismissed, Chief.
Ma'am?
Sadly, we never get to see her play pool. Would have been cool.
Commander, what can I do for you?
Something bothering you?
It's Saren. I'm starting to wonder whether we'll ever find him.
Oh, we will.
He's one step ahead of us, and he's got those damn Geth.
We're getting close, Garrus. We'll find him.
I wish I had your confidence. I just can't stand the thought of him getting away with everything he's done. I know you're doing everything you can, and if anyone can catch him, it's you, but if there's anything else I can do to help, anything, just tell me what you want me to do, and I'll do it.
I don't know what you expect that you'll be able to do here.
I understand your concern, but we will find him. Just make sure you're ready to go when we do.
Yes, ma'am. You can count on me. Thanks for hearing me out. I appreciate it. Can I ask you something, Commander?
Tempting, but...
What is it?
Are you worried that the Council might be protecting Saren?
Not
I mean,
really.
they were really dragging their heels before. What if we find him, bring him back to the Citadel, and they refuse to act?
I get the
Doubtful.
feeling this isn't a question. Speak your mind, Garrus.
Well, maybe we shouldn't give them the chance, Commander. In my opinion, Saren's too dangerous to be kept alive. Too much could happen. He could escape, or the Council might let him go.
He has a point.
If we find him, when we find him, I say we make sure we stop him permanently.
If Saren won't listen to reason, if he forces my hand, I'll kill him in a heartbeat. But only if it's absolutely necessary.
But what's the point in keeping him alive? It just gives him an opportunity to escape or convince the Council to listen to him. And what about the Geth? They might try to free him.
He has fair points, but even so, I'm not a fan of the death penalty in general. And, yeah, I'm very much of a view of bring people in alive if possible.
We know more about Saren's plans than anyone, but what do we really know? If we just kill him, we lose the chance to find out.
Yeah, I see your point. Do you really think there's more to know, other than the fact that he's a raving lunatic?
Maybe,
Probably.
maybe not. But it's not a chance I'm willing to take.
Yes, ma'am.
And how about you, Tally? Anything new to say?
It feels like we're getting near the end, doesn't it, Shepard? With Saren, I mean.
No. We still got 2 more leads to track down. We're only 50%. We're only 50% to figuring out where to go.
It won't be much longer. One way or another, it'll all be over soon.
You'll find the conduit before he does. I know you will. You have to. And after this is all over, when my pilgrimage ends and I go back to my own people, I'll be proud to say I was a part of it.
We couldn't have done this without you, Tally.
You've been good to me. A lot of people treat Quarians like second-class citizens. They just want us to go back to our fleet and disappear. But you've treated me just like everyone else on your crew. Like an equal. That means a lot, and it says something about you. Whatever happens, I just want to say thank you for that.
I'm gonna miss you when you go back to your own people, Tally.
That won't happen for a while yet. I'll be right here anytime you need me.
I should go.
See you later.
She has been helpful. She's helped Adams bring aboard all sorts of junk. Anyway, that's it for now. Next, Novaria. But for now, thanks for watching and have a great day.